It's every entrepreneur's biggest nightmare. You put years of blood, sweat, and tears into your company only to find that a big industry competitor comes in and targets you personally, and they want you to go extinct. They put tens of thousands of dollars into ad campaigns to make you go away. Coming up next is marketing judo that you can use to drive that competitor out and help your business flourish. Up in 12 seconds. Johnny Lombardi was not a popular kid. At 10 years old, he was overweight, introverted, and definitely not athletic. In fact, his favorite pastime was learning how to cook with mom in the kitchen rather than outside with his friends and family playing sports. One thing that Johnny did have, though, was a passion for food. And he had a passion in all regards. He had a passion because he loved eating it, he loved cooking it, he loved talking about it. And so it was only natural at 18 years old, when all of his friends and other high school classmates were going off to college, he went to culinary school. It was there that he really learned how to cook. And at 21, he graduated with a degree in culinary arts. He decided that he was going to open his own restaurant. At 32, Johnny opened Johnny's Restaurant and Pizza. Now, what was interesting about this was the restaurant did really well in certain segments. The pizza was off the charts popular and clearly the most profitable. And so he focused all of his attention on building out a wonderful pizza business, but with one difference. That was, he would not deliver, because Johnny said that people eat at home, but they dine at Johnny's Pizza. And so his pizza business was the only pizza business in and around the Peoria area that didn't have delivery as a pizza restaurant. It worked, and his business, the size of his restaurant grew, the number of tables grew, and over the course of 25, 30 years, Johnny's Restaurant and Pizza just became Johnny's Pizza, but it was the biggest pizzeria within hundreds of miles. He had a wonderful following. Somewhere in there, his son Anthony got him on Facebook, and one by one he developed 8,300 followers on Facebook. It might even been more than that, but it was a big number. And at some point, the competitors would come in, they'd see Johnny's wonderful business, they'd try to replicate it, and they couldn't do it until one day a competitor came in, a well-known, well-respected competitor, not the type of pizza you would order at 3 a.m. from your college dorm room type of competitor, but the kind of competitor that you would look at and think, wow, they're going to do really well. This is a well-funded operation. And Johnny, for the first time, was facing immense competition that stuck. That was okay, because their main business was delivery and his main business was eating in. So he wasn't too worried about it. But what he noticed was sales dropped off about a quarter into the opening of this other restaurant. They dropped by 5%. In a business that runs on tight margins and one that had grown 2 to 3% a year over the last decade, it had him quite concerned. By the second quarter, sales had gone down another 2%, so a total of 7%. And by the end of the third quarter, they had gone down another 3%, so they were running 10% behind last year. Johnny happened to go out to his car one day, and there was a flyer on the windshield, and it said, "Johnny doesn't deliver, but we do. We come to you, Johnny won't." And he realized at that moment that he needed to change his strategy. So Johnny's Pizza, for the first time ever, opened its doors to delivery and got no business. Now, why was this? It's because Johnny had branded his business as the only pizza restaurant in the area, in the Illinois area, that actually did not deliver. And so his fans didn't think that he did, and it didn't matter how many times he put up posters saying we deliver, how many Facebook ads he put up saying we now deliver, it would not stop the carnage. About 3 a.m. one Saturday morning, late Friday night, Saturday morning, he woke up, flipped open his laptop, and was just sitting there thinking about his business and his family, thinking about what he had built for himself and his son, Anthony, and other children and their kids. Actually, he's in his 60s at this point, was about ready to close because he couldn't keep the restaurant open, at least not in its current form, and remain profitable. He was about ready to lose everything if he didn't do something. And he happened to look down at a post from Brent Mason. Brent was an 80-year-old man who had had a farm there for 50 or 60 years. It was a well-run, extremely profitable farm because it had as Johnny called it, it had a shtick. The shtick was that Brent, every spring, would go to the farmer's market, and the local film crew would film Brent running to the farmer's market with one stalk of corn in each hand. He'd run the entire 10 miles. Now, this is an 80-year-old man, and at the end of the season, Brent would run home in the dark with no corn in his hand. And it was a wonderful personal branding exercise for Brent Mason, but it got Johnny thinking. Now, Brent was well known for this run, but Johnny thought, what if I film myself running with a pizza in my hand? And he thought, no, that would look too much like Brent, and I don't want to copy Brent. I think people would just look at that unfavorably. But then he had a moment, and then in that moment, he realized what real-time marketing is, and he didn't even know that that's what he was doing. The next morning, he called his son. He said, find a film crew and find an actor that looks a lot like Brent Mason. And I want to go out to the place where Brent filmed that segment of him running. And I want to run right past this guy with a box of pizza in my hand, while the actor runs with 2 stalks of corn in his hand. And his son Anthony pointed out that, Dad, he said, you're not a fit man, you're quite overweight, you can't run 10 miles. And he said, no, I don't need to run 10 miles, I need to run about 100 yards, and I'm going to sprint it. And I'm going to ask that the Brent Mason lookalike to run with the 2 stalks of corn as slow as he possibly can, and I'm just going to sprint right past him with a box of pizza. Well, a couple of takes later and a couple of winded Johnny Lombardis later, they finally got one that actually worked. And so the next day, they posted a video on Facebook that showed Johnny running past the Brent lookalike saying, Johnny's Pizza delivers guaranteed 30 minutes or less. Blasted it out to the 8,500 followers, 8,300 followers. It went viral. The sales carnage stopped, and in fact his sales went up about 5%. So reversing half of the loss, picking up high margin business, and not having to discount, Johnny was pretty pleased with himself. But then he had another idea. A couple of days later, he went out to where that was filmed, and he confirmed that there was a river running past the street, and he jumped in, had the film crew filming him as he swam backwards with one hand and a pizza in the other, and of course almost drowning doing this video, but it didn't matter. He got the take that he needed. He had the lookalike running right past him, and they sped him up, and the lookalike at this point must have been running slow-mo to get this done, but it looked really good. And again, Johnny zipping past him, pizza in one hand, other hand swimming, and again, we deliver in 30 minutes or less guaranteed. Sales reversed, and now instead of being at flat to where he was last year, he was up 4%. But something else happened, something amazing actually, and that was Johnny, for the first time in his life, actually got in shape. The running did something, at least the filming of the running. So he joined a gym, started working out, lost a ton of weight, and then the final video, the one that shut the competitor down, was when they showed Johnny in the gym. You knew it was Johnny, at least you thought it was Johnny. It was a much thinner Johnny, but his face was tight and his body was tight. Johnny in the gym. It's at the end of October, almost time for Brent to come running back again. In fact, Brent had just done his final run, his run home from the farmer's market that was filmed again in the local media, and they showed Johnny working out, doing some flies, bench presses, sitting there doing some curls, and in the background is a window. And in the window, Brent, the Brent lookalikes running past the window with 2 stalks of corn in his hand. Johnny looks up, smiles at the camera, grabs a pizza, takes off, goes running outside, and goes zipping after Brent. Now that put the competitor, a national chain, out of business, and Johnny's Pizza now offers both in-house and delivery services, and sales are up 125% from where they were prior to the competitor ever coming in. Now, how does it work? If you wanted to take your business right now and use the same strategy, obviously you have to be a bit creative, and you only have a short amount of time, because at some point the news goes away. Well, there are 4 steps effectively. Step 1, locate breaking news. Now, understand, when you locate breaking news, it needs to be good news. I highly, highly recommend that you stay away from politics, unless your business happens to be so politically affiliated with one side or the other that whatever you run, it doesn't matter if you offend 50% of the world, because your followers or your group of buyers definitely fall into a particular category. Absent that, stay away from politics or anything controversial, anything really negative, anything that is actually heart-wrenching. Find something light. So locate breaking news, good news that's funny, not controversial, good news to your fans. Then create content that ties your brand to the news. In Johnny's case, he had a video crew out there with Brent Mason, and it was funny, with the corn stalks and the 80-year-old man running and Johnny blazing past him, and how ridiculous it looked because he was twice his size, 3 times his size, but just running twice as fast as Brent. Everybody knew it was a joke. Everybody knew it was meant to be funny, with a pizza in his hand. Create content that ties your brand to the news, a picture, a video, or maybe an article, but a picture or a video are better, because that generally gets people focused, and you don't have a lot of time, at least if you're doing it through a Facebook ad or a Facebook post or an Instagram post. So I highly recommend a picture or video, something short and sharp. And number 3, again, make it short and sharp. Lastly, blast it to your fans, your followers, or subscribers, and be relentless with it. Stay on it until the news starts to subside, then don't post it anymore. And then find the next breaking news that's good, funny, etc. Good news, content, short and sharp, blast it out, repeat. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you create real-time marketing for your business. Hey, if you like what you just saw, give me a thumbs up, and also hit subscribe below so you can see next week's content. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you like what you just saw, join the Schmidt list by hitting subscribe below. Can I say that? Hey, if you liked what you just saw, become a Schmidt head by hitting subscribe below. No. Hey, if you like what you just saw, hit subscribe below and join our group of followers. Hey, if you like what you just saw, can we use the Sydney clip, please? Hi everybody, Jeff Schmidt here from Sydney, Australia. Hey, if you liked what you just saw, please give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below. Thanks for watching.